Exploring exotic wildlife spots has been a passion for me for years now. I hope to bring one new destination to the table every year at Toehold, and a couple of years ago I learned the nuances of how to find the puma or the mountain lion in the Patagonia region in Chile. In 2017 and 18, I led 2 trips, out of which one was spectacular and another just about average. The second trip wasn't great because we went in November as an add-on to the Antarctica expedition, and it wasn't like how puma sightings are usually in Feb and March. So without a doubt, I knew March is my month. I think puma tourism from India is in its nascent stages, and we had a group of 5 this February. Most of them from Bengaluru and one from Delhi. We flew to the Chilean capital of Santiago and then reached the southern city of Punta Arenas, which is a hub for many commercial activities. My guide drives a car with a couple of us in it, and I drive another SUV with 3 of us in it, and we reached the southern border of the famous Torres del Paine, which means the Towers of Paine National Park, on day 1. I remember it was drizzling and the feeling was we may have come at the wrong time of the year. Day 1 wasn't productive and we had to learn the movements of the animals, so we failed to find any pumas that evening. I remember on day 2 we went up to some usual spots in our SUVs and started scanning the area using our binoculars. I also have a couple of resident guides who literally live there and help us track the cats. It was the windiest day of the trip and we again failed to find any animals. By the end of day 2, we were literally starting to be a bit unsure, and one of our patrons asked me if there was a better time to come. I started feeling the pressure, but I knew optimism and working hard was the only option we had for the next few days. Thankfully, we found pumas sleeping near the road on day 3. But the whole morning they did nothing, and it was even more frustrating to see them sleep the whole day. That evening, thankfully, they delighted us and gave us ample photo opportunities, and our hope was alive, and we went to bed that night with a lot of dreams for the next days to come. We came back to base and ended the day hoping the next couple of days would be rewarding. This day, after a visit to the glacier, was perhaps an important one, and we really needed luck to be favoring us. We reached a spot near the Lake Sarmiento and started scanning the hills to find some clues. The pumas we had found the day before this were not to be seen, and we continued our search. Within minutes, our guide Mauricio came running down the hill after he had heard some guanaco calls up the mountain. We jumped into our cars and drove up the hill, and we stopped our car to be amazed to see not 1 or 2 or 3 but 4 pumas sitting against the ridge in the beautiful orange light. Hooray! It looked like a jackpot that morning. We quickly pulled the tripods and backpacks, and without even locking the car, we started walking towards these beautiful cats. By now, I had realized they were the same individuals we spotted the day before, and they were going further up the hill. The pumas played with each other, tried to stalk a guanaco, sat at spectacular spots while we made amazing images of them. All of us were spread across the valley while we were on foot. Keeping up with the mountain lions in the mountain was an above average fitness requirement, and all of us did well to bring our physical best to be walking parallel with these cats. The highlight of the trip was one moment where a puma was sitting on a mound, and I realized it was time for us to race ahead and align the puma with a beautiful mountain in the background. In the 3 trips before, I hadn't gotten lucky with this kind of a setup. I quickly composed a shot of the Torres del Paine in the background of the puma and then started looking around for all of us in the group who were scattered. Since the puma was sitting there for a bit, most of us managed this spectacular shot. I tried my best to bring everyone to the same view, and I also remember urging one of our members of the group who was away to come near me and capture this view. I'm glad he enjoyed photographing this spectacular sight. By the end of these 2 hours, we were exhausted. I don't remember anything else that morning apart from the lovely light on the puma and the foreground while the overcast clouds were covering the Towers of Paine. That afternoon, we thought it couldn't get better. We went back to the area, and after hours of looking around, we spotted Blinka, one of the 4 pumas we had spotted in the morning. Blinka was on a rock looking at a direction where her mother, the Sarmiento female, was approaching. The Sarmiento female and Blinka were almost of the same size, though I had seen Blinka as a cub in the previous year. They both seemed to interact with each other on a balcony seat that they had before the mother disappeared again in search of food perhaps. Blinka got down from the rock and walked right into us. These were the tensest moments of the trip while we were on foot photographing her while she walked a few meters towards us and started drinking water from a small puddle of water. After this, she walked even closer to us, and I think she was less than 9 feet away before we huddled up and she walked away to another hill. We surely had no energy to follow her. We were emotionally, physically, and mentally exhausted and completely satisfied with this day that is hard to be bettered. The next couple of days, we saw more pumas, some photographically interesting and some just sightings before the trip was over and we had to head back to Punta Arenas. The coming year, I hope to relive this magic in the Patagonian region and see a lot more pumas. If you happen to be one such photographer who might want to come to Patagonia with me and photograph the mountain lions in this beautiful region, please get in touch with us, leave a comment below, and we'll be happy to share some information of our next departure in 2020.